Hello, welcome. We are live today as we're preparing for Venus to go retrograde in Leo. That will be happening later on this evening. On the 22nd, most auspicious day, we're doing this rewind in Venus in order to go over some old ground, and it's so we can come into alignment. But first, before we can come, something just went to fall out of the deck there. Let's set this aside. Okay, yes, okay. First, before we come into alignment with another, we first have to come into alignment with ourselves. This requires us to get an education from the roots of the past, our past relationships. And even deeper than that, really, when it comes to really coming into alignment with ourselves, there's a story here as old as time, all right? And there's something here that is awakening in you, but it requires you first to kind of dive really deep, all right? So it's kind of funny because we just got through that retrograde energy in a sense where we were really looking at our deepest wounds, not only with Chiron and Aries, but also with the Scorpio South Node. We did a lot of this transformational work, a lot of healing work around this, but this is different. This is about getting a different gift and bringing it forward from the roots of the past, doing a different kind of alchemy work where it's not about really so much the other. It's more about polishing the mirror. It's more about our own reflection, what we see in ourselves. And it's when we recognize what is within ourselves and we elevate it and refine it, that we alchemize it. And then we are able to find another 2:22 on the clock. Okay. We are able to find another who can also be that reflection for us. So this is about getting a lot of clarity within us. It's about pulling a diamond up from the rough, okay, from the earth and polishing it, making sure it's free of all inclusions, so it has great clarity. And it's a multifaceted process, but we're about to go through an education in alchemy. There's a lot of magic at the forefront with this cycle that you'll see here. We got the sun. This just kind of flipped out and into my lap as I'm preparing the deck here. We got the sun in reverse, which is Leo's card. We have the Page of Pentacles, which is all about just the initial inception, the initial message that comes in, the initial seed that will grow into much more down the road. But first, we have to do this review process. There's an education involved here with the Page of Pentacles. And it begins first, through pulling it down through the ether, all right? So our inspirations, right? Our sense of direction that comes from our higher consciousness, that comes from spirit, from Akasha. And the thing about this is that it's going to root through us. So first we plant that seed within our own hearts, and something germinates there. Something grows during this time of darkness. I got a lot of downloads around this one. It's not quite time yet to take bold actions in love. That time is coming, and it's actually going to be coming within this cycle of Venus retrograde in Leo. Venus is going to be retrograde in Leo starting this evening, once again at 6:33 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the United States. And we got that big 33 energy, right? So we know that whatever is coming forward here, it's part of our architecture, our architecture for what 4:44 on the clock when I said that. Okay, we got a little divine play coming in here. It's a little bit of heaven on earth. It's a little bit of divine inspiration. It inspires art. How many times have we seen works of art that have been inspired by love? Great paintings, great sculptures, the Venus de Milo comes to mind. And, it's very interesting with the Venus de Milo, right? There's parts of the Venus de Milo that have been cut off. And I just got this really beautiful imagery of the Venus de Milo, like pulling those parts back. Ooh, Ted gave confirmation on that. Just this recalling, reforming, reintegration, reunion within the self. It's like calling all those parts of yourself back that were cast aside, that were scattered, you know, that were scattered in a sense of places where we arrived within ourselves, where we bumped up against the division and we allowed it to create that fracturing. This is really about coming back into union. And there's a very powerful point coming in this cycle on the 13th of August, when Venus is conjunct the sun. And we really work with the amplitude of that life force giving energy. We got Dog Star Sirius still in play, right? We're really being called to embody that spiritual sun at this time. It's what allows the inner light to shine outward, and then it radiates all that light back to us in our lives and also in our partners, okay? And this happens on the 13th. It's called a Kazemi, okay? And what it does is this Kazemi comes in on the 13th of August, and it opens up a brand new chapter for us in our love lives. And also not just in our love lives. We got to look beyond this when we look at Venus. What is the Venusian energy about? Oh, I can't make it up. I just picked up the deck to start to shuffle again. Right on the bottom of the deck, we have the Strength card, another Leo card. And this is what the Strength card is all about. It's about understanding that you do have the courage, you do have the strength to transform these energies. You are the alchemist. This is also about being gentle. Notice that the lion is biting down on the Empress's paw. Look at that infinity symbol here. I love this balancing of energies. We can see the energy is a little out of balance right now. There's a need to bring it back into balance. This is very important when we're looking at Venus, because Venus is not just love. Venus is also war. All right. And in Leo, we're looking at really entrenched things that we're at war with, not only within ourselves, but also within the other. And these themes are very front and center. So what's leading up to the 13th and this Kazemi, when we have Venus conjunct the sun, is that we're actually actualizing what we learn in this time period by balancing within ourselves, inner reflecting, and it starts to give a new vision of how we move forward in our relationships in the future. And this is a powerful seed to plant. In the meantime, you're going to be doing a lot of sorting, okay? You're going to be doing a lot of sorting and around certain themes. So I kind of just want to go over these different themes one by one, do a little Astro Talk and Tarot, and play with the energies a little bit. So whether you are here for the live or you catch the replay, I just wish to say welcome. I wish to say thank you for joining me here. Those of you who are on this Own Your Fire track and you have access to the free course and you're moving through the lessons, this is so perfect, okay, for this to come in to close out week 5. That is available to everybody. So hello, all you new subscribers. Hello. Oh, thank you so much, Jared. My real name is Shannon Elsom, and I am public on Facebook, okay? I post a lot of wild stuff there, and I am very active there, so people are welcome to follow me on Facebook. And yeah, I don't do quite so much on my Broad Coven Facebook page, but my personal page I'm active in, and so you're all welcome to follow me there. All right. My profile there is set. I don't know why, but Facebook set me as a public figure. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but anyway, it made it so people can just kind of click and follow, and you'll get all the updates. We'll be friended up. on Facebook. I do have to warn you though. I don't think you'll care, Jer, okay, but I do have to say that people are, sometimes shocked because I do have two sides of myself. I have a really kind of racy sense of humor. I bring up a lot of kind of like provoking stuff at times. It's all for fun and play and to shake up the way people think about things. And don't take anything too seriously. But I would love to connect with you there. So yes, please, Jared, reach out. I would love to connect. I want to go ahead and just like go through like each of these themes with this Venus retrograde in Leo, and also kind of highlight some specific points that are going to be coming in. We already touched on this Kazemi, which is a really like time of opening up a brand new chapter, writing a new love story. It's not just about that though, okay? Because with Venus, we also have the war aspect. So it's also a time when you can really like kind of bury the hatchet, lay it to rest, find peace. In some cases, reconciliation, all right? In other cases, it can be just really feeling like you've come to that place where you're at peace within yourself. And okay, I will add you. I will. I'd be happy to do that, okay? So this is really about coming into that place of like finally like bridging the gap and coming into the present instead of so much backward focus, which is ironic because it's coming within a Venus retrograde cycle, right? Okay, so this will be a very interesting, ooh, yes, look, the wheel turns with the Wheel of Fortune. It's interesting how much comes in on the split of the deck as you're shuffling and talking about these things. So we know that this is a bright spot for us. I have to bring it in. It's very interesting because it's just really speaking to me strongly. I was born on Friday the 13th. And Friday the 13th is actually considered Freya's day. So we got a little Norse energy coming in here. Freya is the goddess of love and war. You might have seen a little saying that goes around about Freya that's if you can't lay 'em, slay 'em, okay? So we do have a little bit of that energy front and center. Let's not forget that. We do have squares coming in as well. A couple significant ones that can really shake things up, all right? So we have, first of all, coming up on the 9th, Venus will be square Uranus, all right? So we know what that means. Look for this being a time when there might be some really unexpected news come in. This could be unexpected news about love. And it was just as I was going to like turn this to shuffle. So you might be shocked to find something out that might change your opinion about a relationship, a direction you thought you were going to move into. Yes, look at this. We got 10 of Swords. So there's something that changes your mind here, gives you a different kind of perspective here. Might really start to come in right around that super moon in Aquarius on August 1st. Yes, I believe that will initiate this cycle, and it leads up, it kind of culminates on the 9th when Venus goes square Uranus, all right? So at that point, look for something really unexpected to happen. Now, it depends. This turning something around, it could also be you get a new perspective. You get turned upside down. You get a different perspective of a person, maybe a person you were at odds with, and this causes you to look at things differently, right? That's another way that you could take this in. But a lot of you will be choosing to sort of like wrap up an old love story. 14, 44 on the clock. That's like 5 with the 44 energy to the 8, okay? So you got help with this process. There's spiritual help on hand with this process. There's also a lot of manifestation happening at this time. Something is manifesting, something is growing. Whatever happens at this time, remember it's a seed for the manifestation of the future that you're meant to step into. So try to roll with the changes the best you can. The less you resist, the less you square up, okay, the better off you're going to be. Hey, you know what, Jer? I love it. I'm a pretty open person, so you probably already get that about me. You can let it all hang out, man. Okay, you can let it all hang out. I let everybody just show up as they want to be on social media. You know, I'm not one of those people that's kind of like a Facebook hall monitor. You know, I don't dig that. When people micromanage what other people can post or what they can say, I'm really not down for censorship. That's like one of my big central points. I feel like what is needed. And this is so interesting because with you bringing this in, I feel it really does relate to this Venus retrograde energy in Leo, because Leo shines the spotlight, right? It shines the spotlight. And then there's also this piece here about, you know, learning new things and having challenges in relationships, getting different perspectives. A lot of the constructive work around that, whether you're dealing with a lover or a really close friend or somebody you work with on a creative project, whatever it may be, all right, there is this piece here about communication is central to that. Communication is key. Ooh, yes, Ace of Cups, you know. We have to learn how to communicate in a new way, because when we look at the Ace of Cups is a new beginning in love, right? It's not just a new beginning in love. It's musing energy. It's creativity pouring into us. It's inspiration. It's what aligns us emotionally. This pours in, right? You know, it pours in. It comes into alignment within our hearts. It cleanses our hearts. You know, we really get connected to what gives us that sense of fulfillment. And it also allows us to temper our communications a little bit, make our communications a little bit more heart-centered, create a little more room for understanding. Now with square Uranus, that's the challenge, right? So it's so important, though, that we align with this energy within ourselves, and that will allow us to better weather the squares. And that means, you know, no censorship. You know, we have to put things on the table. We have to be willing to talk about the tough stuff. And it was 17:55 on the clock. So again, there's that 8. This is a key for manifestation. 55, it's a change. It's uncomfortable making this change, you know. It's not easy to talk about certain things. It's not easy to have that communication with ourselves, looking at the part we've played in situations. But this is what's necessary in order to kind of close the old cycles and step into the potential of planting that new seed on the 13th with the Kazemi, all right? Very, very important. It leads up to more though, okay? But wait, there's more. We got another square, and that comes in on the 22nd. And that is Venus square Jupiter, all right? So this is a challenge to us coming into alignment. It's a challenge to this. And what it is it's the propensity to get a little too much into our egos, to only think about what will give us fulfillment, to not have consideration for the others involved in our situations. And as long as we do this, we're not going to be able to come into alignment with the potential of what is on offer this Leo season. As we, you know, do this backwards motion with Venus, and we dance through the hallways of love past, all right? We will be revising scripts, all right? We will be revising contracts. In some cases, we'll be scrapping them, all right? Scrapping them entirely to form new soul contracts with new soulmates coming in. Some soulmates will be getting their wings. I just got that came in. I might really speak to those of you who are, you know, really connected with either angel or fairy. Some of you both. Oh, that's nice. Heaven on earth. Oh, what a beautiful message. Okay. There's some magic weaving here, even amidst the muck. And it's very fitting with the whole sort of like story we've had unfolding with Own Your Fire about no mud, no lotus, right? It's the same thing. No thorns, no rose. You know, you have to really integrate the pains and that which has been in need of a transfusion. It's interesting the way the messages are coming through. Oh, well, you know, if you prick your finger on a thorn, you know, you release your blood, right? You release your blood and then you need a transfusion. You were, oh my gosh. Tapped in. Okay, yeah, you know, it's one of my favorite quotes from Anais Nin. He who dares not grasp the thorn should never crave the rose. I mean, I think that that is really the perfect energy, really the perfect energy that captures the essence of this Venus retrograde in Leo, all right? So we're going to be with this for a while, all right? Not until September 3rd does it go direct. And we have to remember that if we really want to come into alignment with the path of heart, and that path of heart, it's not just rolling out in love relationships. Please expand your view of what Venus is. And certainly when it's in the house of Leo, we're looking at beauty, okay, in your relationship with beauty, all right? We, of course, are looking at love, romance, but also pleasure, all right? So these are very key points to be aware of. So when we're looking at Venus, Venus square Uranus on the 9th, we're looking at things that shake up our view of love, things that pull the rug out from under us, okay? Not only that, we are also, I'm getting the story very strongly, and I feel it's more of an internal reflection. There's a lot of focus maybe that's been on the other outside of yourself, and there's a very distinct switch that's happening at this time. And the distinct switch that's happening at this time is that instead of looking for outside validation, which sometimes Leo distorted can do, right? Leo likes the spotlight. Leo loves that appreciation, that outside validation, 22:55 on the clock. This is going beyond that, okay? This is about inner validation. It's about coming into your own sense of inner rootedness, grounding, 23:11 on the clock. This is the change required. You have to come into alignment within yourself first. It's about you validating yourself. It's about the self as lover, the sacred marriage, the conjuncto, unifying the masculine, the feminine within yourself, 23:33 on the clock, I'm telling you. This is about to get really, it is about to get very magical, okay? It is. There's a lot of alchemy at play, 23:44 on the clock. I love how it's all coming in with the 5 energy. Do you see what I'm saying? Now with these squares, they're normally like challenging aspects, but I am picking up this little bit of a curveball because Uranus is a trickster, you know? Anything can happen. It's very like kind of wild card energy. It is very grab bag energy. Oh, I love 23. As you know, it's one of mine too. Hail Aries. I do walk the path of Discordianism, you know, which is a very wide open perspective about the world. And also that, you know, sometimes you need a bit of chaos to make some magic happen, okay? So there's this piece to be mindful of, that sometimes it's not so bad for things to get shaken up a bit, all right? There's a lot of blessings that can come out of that, wild blessings, feral blessings. I feel like this is front and center. So I really feel this Uranus energy coming in with Venus on the 9th. You know, there's a spiritual lesson in it with that 9 energy, okay? 9 energy. Let's see, 17:8. When you pair it with the month of August, that's that 8 energy. Okay, 17:8 is what that comes to. 17:8, what is 2023, 5, 6, 7? 17, 8, 7, 15, 6. Healing. The new beginning comes through really sudden change. It's like a lightning bolt. It's like a tower. It's musing energy. The muse is being activated in you. Woo! The muse is being activated in you. You would do very well to find yourself a muse. A muse. It can be anything. It can be a totem animal. It can be an old Hollywood starlet. It's interesting. We had this LARPing energy come in before. It can be somebody you admire. And think of the essence, like what is it that you are inspired by in relation to this muse? There's something here about this. There's something about moving more toward the energy of inspiration. This musing energy is going to it's going to blow something open in your consciousness that will inspire this seed you're going to plant on the 13th. Now, what's interesting about this is that when we go back to that Venus picture, love and war, when we think of musing energy and we think of the war side of that, we think of competitiveness, right? We think of drama, which also everybody knows Leo in balance can bring that. And right with that, we got the moon in reverse. Now, after we got that supermoon in Aquarius coming in on the 1st, right, which invites expansion. Ironically, Uranus is connected with the sign of Aquarius. It is Aquarius's ruling planet. So this is very significant here. There's something we're cleansing too. I see like that image of the water bearer, pouring the water down on the earth. It's like we have to do our cleansing. We have to do our cleansing before we can get to that star, to that sun, to the 13th, when the sun comes into alignment with Venus. And we got that conjunction. We got that coming together. And with that 13, it's a power point, right? It's a power number. And it's very much the activation of that Venusian energy. 13 is a Venusian energy. It's funny. It's considered bad luck. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And that's because Freya, Freya had a lot of admirers, right? Freya had a lot of followers. And when more religious power structures started to take a strong hold and decided they needed to determine how people connected with spirit by bringing in an intermediary, right? The priest, the Pope, needing to have somebody to help you connect to spirit. This came in. One way they created a sense of division. Okay, all these devotees of Freya, they just loved Freya. They just love the divine feminine. And if you think of the Venusian energy, love and war, masculine, feminine, we think of war, we think of Aries, we think of that masculine essence, right? What do we just had? We had the changing of the nodes of destiny. Same thing, these polarities in play, all right? This is an opportunity to bring things into balance, though. So when they saw that so many people were swayed by their love of Freya in order to sever them from that and quintessentially have them lose the keys to the garden of earthly delight, they created this narrative around the number 13 that it's bad luck, that it's evil. And look how steeped it is in our collective consciousness. I mean, people view Friday the 13th, Freya's day, as a bad luck day. And yet it is the complete energy signature of the Venusian energy of Venus. Freya may be a fitting muse for many of you. And if you are drawn to Norse traditions, if you have that in your bloodline, it might be a really good time, 3011, to come into alignment. It'll bring certain gifts with that goddess Freya energy. Even if it's not part of your tradition, it may be an interesting inspiration, even just to like read about her, read about goddess Freya, learn about her. There's something there. It will reflect something to you. It will be like a key unlocking a part of your consciousness. When we're looking at that competitive vibe, okay, there's a piece here about once you're really rooted in your own sense of power, and some of you have been experiencing division in your love relationships out of the need for that outside validation, and because of the lack of that inner validation, which is very much like that Freya energy embodied, okay, being in that place of really holding both aspects, 3111, masculine, feminine, in balance with it, we can get cut off from the opportunity to really come into alignment with that very thing we want, right? That true mirror in love, that true soul union. Not only that, but seeing beauty manifest on earth, in our lives, all around us, feeling inspired by our lives. We can take the energy, we can degrade it through competition, through contrast and compare, through needing outside validation. We have to look at those distortions, all right? The illusions with the moon in reverse, right? This is also the dark moon energy. So after that energy of the Aquarius super moon comes in and shines a bright light on everything, spots like this, we head into the dark phase of the moon. And that's a time for inner reflection, all right? It's also a time when we have our illusions revealed to us. What we learned during that deep dive, it's like the lightning bolt of Uranus bringing down the tower, you know? I feel it's something within ourselves that we realize has been like the original lie that's kept us in this place of division, a place of division with another, a place of division within ourselves, a place of division that has kept us from being inspired by others instead of feeling at odds or in competition or moving into this energy of envy. These themes have been playing out this year. They've been weaving through this year. We are in an eclipse cycle, okay? So there's still more to emerge around these themes. But this cycle is really about you coming into that place of inner inspiration. And so it might be helpful instead to move more into this musing energy. I love it with an archetype, just in doing the alchemy work or any kind of magical work, working with an archetype as your muse, or maybe you create your muse as you go. Maybe your muse creates you, but there's this real partnership energy, this drawing down above and rooting it below and bringing about beauty and growth and expansion and healing with that 6 energy that came in. 6 is the number of the lovers. Gemini is front and center during this cycle as well. We cannot ignore Gemini, okay? We cannot ignore Gemini. We can also not ignore Pisces. There's a reason for this. On the 22nd, that day of alignment, when we have Venus square Jupiter, okay? Jupiter is the ruling planet of both Sagittarius and is also a ruling planet of Pisces. We have that axis, all right? Gemini, Sagittarius, we have that axis. It's significant. And this gives a clue about what that square is about. We think of Gemini and we think of 2 sides, right? Us, them, mine, yours. Conscious, unconscious, good, evil, win, lose. It's the polarization, okay? It's seeing separation between yourself and others. It is the original lie, okay? It's feeling that others have power and you don't. These themes all playing out there. This is significant because if you head up to that cycle, when we got, the 22nd, we know we planted a seed on the 13th with that Kazemi. We planted a seed. And you know that seed's going to get watered up with the blue supermoon that comes in on the 22nd in the sign of Pisces. You see all the connecting points here. This could get in our way, all right? When you plant a seed, there's another part of that, right? What do you need to do when you plant a seed? You have to nurture it. You have to fertilize it. You have to water it. You have to tend to it. You can't just bury it in the ground and forget about it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have some seeds that are hardy like that, but sometimes those seeds are the invasive ones, right? They're the invasive ones. They're the ones that will sprout and they'll overtake your whole garden. I got mullein is coming to mind in regard to that. It's interesting. Okay. Mullein as a plant ally. Mullein has a lot of value. Mullein is actually excellent for clearing the lungs, and the lungs are associated with grief. This is potent. Mullein is also considered extremely invasive, okay? It can take over everything. So I feel like this, what hasn't been cleared, old grief, old stories, old narratives, old contracts that no longer serve, that keep you in these places of division, that keep you in these places of needing outside validation, relationships where power has not been balanced out, where it's not a sharing of power, it's a holding of power over the other, or trying to earn a little, just give me just a little bit of that power, just acknowledge me, just see me, please. It's not about that. That's what needs to go. That's what needs to go. It's about coming into the recognition that you are love, okay? So allow yourself in this opening phase, okay, to be a little selfish, okay, up until the 13th. Be more solitary with, you know, the energy that comes in after that super moon on the 1st. It's about using that time to cleanse, right? You might want to bring some mullein in. Please, you know, make sure it's appropriate for you. Discuss it with your medical practitioners, anybody you work with on a health level, all right? But it is wanting to come forward, okay? So do this work at that time. You can do steam inhalations too, breaks up the congestion in the lungs, helps expel old ama, old stuck stuff, that which is undigested. Let yourself have some good cleansing cries when they need to come. If you feel like you need a good cleansing cry, but you haven't been able to, move your lymph. Move your lymph. It will happen. I encourage you to move your lymph in ways that are pleasurable though, okay? Not like focusing on like just brow beating, you know, back breaking, you know, real intense workouts, okay? Unless that's what's feeling good to you in the moment, unless that feels like that's what would give you pleasure. But consider looking at things in a new way, okay? Because we have been very much in that energy. There's a lot of competitive, you know, combative, squaring up kind of energy that's been in place. So consider a different way of moving that energy, a different way of moving your body, maybe dancing, you know, or getting some nice brisk walks out in nature, going for a swim, you know, something that still gets the energy moving, gets your body moving, but maybe you can find some pleasure in, some enjoyment in. That's really important. We don't want to forget the pleasure and beauty piece, okay? This is very significant. Do this clearing work because it will help you combat some of this energy that comes in with that Venus square Jupiter, so you don't block your blessings. Because if you get too, you know, stuck in like, well, this is the way it has to be in my relationship with you. And so I see that you don't want the same thing that I want, and I'm going to try to force you to see things my way. You're going to blow it, you know, and you'll blow it in any situation that you want to move forward in. But this applies when we look at Venus. We're looking at how we interact, how we relate to others as a whole, all right? And doing so on a level that we choose to come from, you know, that love side more than we do the war side. That's what the Libra scales is all about. It's about balancing out the shadow and light. All right, let's see what we got here. I'm curious what these cards are that flipped over. Yes, look, they're in reverse, okay? Before the world can turn, all right, before the world can turn and we get this pearl of wisdom, we have to first kind of do this cleansing work, all right? We got to like go into the dark moon energy. You know, we have to wait before this cup can be filled, all right? And before that energy turns around. We know that this will turn around. The opportunity for it to turn around comes with the Kazemi on the 13th. But in the meantime, this is about us kind of looking back at our old story. I just got as the world turns. It's got like real like soap opera energy, okay? So like, what is your soap opera? What is the story you all have been telling yourselves about your love life, or what's been going on with your life as a whole? This is a time to really look at your relationship to both darkness and light, to shadow and light. A good way to do this is to look at that mirror of the other. When you look at other people, do you notice their shadow? Do you pay attention to their faults? Do you look at all their failings, how they don't measure up? Or are you aware of their light? Use this as a meditation. As you come into this place of balance within yourself, it will teach you something about yourself, because you have to remember everything we encounter in the world around us is a reflection of us. It's showing something to us about some point of division within us. And if we can really use that as a reflection, it will help illuminate something for us so we can integrate and get beyond that. This also applies to people where maybe you felt competition, and this can be in business, it can be in love, it can be in friendships, it can be in any area of life, because we do have that war theme, all right? And Libra, let's not forget, the sign of Libra also rules enemies, okay? So is there a way you can flip-flop this? Is there a way that you can start focusing on building the light instead of viewing somebody as an enemy? And if you have been at odds with another, if there has been some kind of argument, falling out, division, are you just continually focusing on what happened back there? Because if you're continually focusing on what caused a breakup, what happened in that situation, you keep going over this story, you're caught in like this neural loop that keeps this situation stagnant. And even if you don't want to reconnect with this person, you're fully ready to like leave that in the past, you're still back there. You can't get beyond it until you drop that story and say, okay, that happened and it's not helpful for me to continue to tell this story. That's why that clearing work around the lungs is really needed. We need to clear the old story, because until you turn the page in the book, the story can't continue, correct? You're reading a novel, okay? You're reading a novel and you're at this point where something really awful has happened, you know, to the protagonist in the story. And you're like, just like, oh man, maybe you feel bummed out. Have you had that experience before where you've been reading a book and it's like, oh, you've just been vibing with it, and then just something horrible happens to a character that you're really invested in, and you're like bummed out, like you get stuck there for a minute? You just gotta like put it down for a minute before you can continue with the story. All right, it's the same thing. That's kind of like where you're at. I'm getting book energy with this. You might want to work with some writing during this cycle. Those of you that are writers, this might be a really great musing time with writing. I think there will be a lot coming in. Writing can also be very cathartic for clearing. It can get the story out of your head and have you look at it on paper and see it clearly. Write your soap opera. Write your soap opera. How interesting. Write your soap opera. Yeah, this will help you. This will help you with clearing out this energy. This would be a good full moon ritual. 44:44 on the clock. August 1st. Use that Aquarian super moon to transform this energy. Write your soap opera, whatever it is. Write your soap opera with all the cast of characters, and then, you know, turn the page. burn it, you know, transform it, offer it up, do a good burn, you know, throw some sacred herbs on that fire and just like let it all release. Send up the smoke signals for new inspiration, new beginnings come in from spirit. You know, do a little smoke cleansing with it as well. Just cleanse yourself of the old stories so a new story can begin and you can turn the page, all right? If you really prepare yourself for this, when challenges do arise on the 22nd, you're not going to lose your focus. You're not going to lose your focus. You're going to be able to transmute these energies and have the light peer through in those situations, all right? So let's see. Also, you know, let's look at business, okay? Are there people in business that you admire? People in your community that you admire, people around you that you admire their creative gifts, or you admire something that they do, you know. Maybe you're in the same field as this person. Do you use it in such a way where you feel in competition, or can you flip-flop it, all right? Can you flip-flop it? This just fell on the ground, so let's see what this is. Look at this. This is a cue about what's keeping some of you from the success you seek. Some of you are too focused on what are they doing? What's the competition doing, all right? And this is actually blocking your success. What you can't see is that when we elevate others, when we give others their flowers, when we acknowledge another's brilliance, it actually lights the way forward for our own rising, okay? We lift each other up. There's a need for more of this collective consciousness as well, right? Because when we look at that energy, it's about division, it's about separation. The entire energy signature this month is the opposite of that. It's about alignment, it's about union, all right? So be mindful of this. So here's a little challenge, you know, a little challenge. If you felt competitive with somebody, all right? If you felt envious of another, experiment with what is it that you're envying? What is it that you feel is a competitive point in this connection? Why don't you instead shine a little spotlight on that person? Why don't you instead, you know, give them a shout out online, okay? Why don't you instead tell them, you know, send them a message, or just connect with them and let them know what you really admire about them, what you think is so brilliant about them. Share how they've inspired you. Yeah, it may feel like a reach, okay? But watch how it transforms connections. Watch how it transforms your mindset. And watch how it opens the road within you and allows your own inspiration to come in. Then you'll have this victory that you see, okay? So I think this is very important. You know, it's about polishing the mirror, you know? It really is. It's about polishing the mirror. And there's something to really be said for this piece about, do you see the light in others, or do you see the darkness in others? How are your sights set? It says a hell of a lot about why you're experiencing what you're experiencing in your life. Because all of life is in relationship with each other. All of life. It's all interrelated. And you can't have life without relationship. It's impossible. So there's something that is really transforming here, and it's really beautiful in terms of our relationships, and also our relationship with ourselves, coming to that place where we love and appreciate ourselves more, where we can be loving towards ourselves instead of harsh, instead of, you know, beating up on ourselves when we make a mistake, or where we have maybe, let's look at the body, okay? This is coming in because when we look at the self, we're looking at the body. We brought in spiritual cleansing. This is also about physical cleansing as well. Physically cleansing yourself of, you know, any sort of like outside projections of ideals about what is beauty, you know. I feel like this is really at the forefront. Also around pleasure when it comes to your body. Maybe some of you have denied yourself certain pleasures because you've been really trying to live up to a certain ideal, a certain beauty ideal. You know, some of you may be in processes where you want to release some weight. Maybe you want a new look, you know, things along these lines. Maybe you're revamping your image. You could, you know, even be revamping your brand when we look at the physical, all right? Think more in terms of pleasure, all right? This piece came in the other night for Sagittarius, so this makes sense. It's about working smarter, not harder, all right? And I feel like that also applies to any kind of glow up, transformation, makeover, shapeover that you'll be engaged in, because a lot of you will be heading in this direction. You're going to be more aware of your appearance. You're going to be more aware of how others see you. But what's really important is, how do you see yourself in that cycle as we're opening up, right? How do you see yourself? It's only when you accurately see yourself that you'll, you know, draw in that mirror, the other that is a reflection of you. You get it? Okay. So this is about polishing that mirror. So I want you to really open your mind to a new way of, you know, looking at yourself in terms of your beauty, and maybe playing with that a bit. Give yourself some pampering during that dark moon time. Give yourself a little time to just really luxuriate in your body. You know, take some really luscious baths with, you know, nice oils and sea salt, and it makes me think of, you know, Aphrodite rising from the ocean, you know, just kind of like these salty water baths. And you can put all kinds of beautiful, you know, essential oil scents. You could put a little rose oil in your bath, a little neroli, a little ylang ylang, you know, get yourself in that nice, soft, feminine, divine feminine space where you can really open yourself to receive. You need to be able to open yourself to receive the masculine within you that wants to provide for you. Ooh, it's beautiful, you know? Again, moving into that energy, connecting with the heart, you know, in this way, letting the masculine hold space around the feminine, right? There's some kind of real healing, cleansing happens here. You know, don't forget your feet, you know, go ahead and like anoint your crown each day to remember your connection to spirit, to heaven, to your higher consciousness. And also, you know, put a little of that oil on your feet, maybe rub your feet a bit, give yourself some grounding, you know, root yourself in your energy. Don't forget that piece, what's below you, Gaia, you know, the feminine. The feminine grows, births new beginnings, right? I mean, we see that in the journey of the Empress that rises up from the ground of her being, from doing all the work, from the deep dive in the underworld. It's the same story that's mimicked throughout cultures all over the world in different spiritual traditions and different stories. It's that deep dive of Persephone into the underworld, who emerges again as core in the spring and births all new beginnings as the embodiment of that Empress energy. And so I feel like that's really what is coming forward during this cycle. The seed that's planted comes on the 13th. Make sure you're watering it with love by coming into alignment with the love within yourself. And so any kind of pleasure, you know, any kind of pleasure rituals you can indulge in is going to really help you come into that place of embodying the Venusian energy within yourself. You know, get a really beautiful like body souffle, or you know, make yourself an anointing oil. Give yourself some abhyanga, some self massage. Hey, you know, pleasure yourself as well. Get in touch with your own sexual energy. You know, appreciate the enjoyment of being in your body. And so try to bring a little bit of this in as well. If you are in a makeover, shapeover process, if you are looking to release some weight, or you're looking to get in shape, like, don't deny yourself the pleasures too. You know what I'm saying? Bring in a little bit of that. You got to like do a little bit of this tempering. We are still in Pitta season. It's about tempering. It can't be all push, push, push. It can't be all about control. We have to soften. We have to release, you know, to keep those polarities, the masculine, the feminine, in a state of balance, in a state of equilibrium, which is that Libra work, you know, hold down that soft note. Okay. So we have to remember this is the work we're doing right now with Libra in the South Node, Aries in the North Node. Right? We activate it through coming into our own sovereignty, all right, our own alignment, but it doesn't actualize in external reality until we come into that place of that soft, open, feminine receptivity to receiving it, right? Then the blessings pour in. And fall is going to be a big pop-off time for that, for sure. I feel that very strongly. You will see like sort of that heaven on earth, like the dream manifests, like something really big happens on the final super moon on the 29th of September in Aries that kicked off this whole big cycle we're in. It's big, it's live and out loud, okay? There's nothing quiet about this cycle, but we are, you know, walking away from an old way of being. And right now you're at this point, right? You're starting that fool's journey. You're starting that fool's journey and you're about to cross over that bridge, all right? From the past toward the path of heart, right? So I think I'm going to do a kind of deck energy here, and then I just want to get some guidance from the angels about any specific keys that can be provided that can really help us open the door of our heart and open the door of opportunity that this Venus retrograde in Leo offers us. I mean, I think we are really going to have a chance to step into the spotlight, to take center stage in our own lives and also in our own love story. Maybe you felt like you were always like on the sidelines in your love story, like it was out of your hands, or you always felt like you were an extra. Oh, interesting. Or a supporting role. Well, maybe it's time to step into the starring role, right? Very interesting energy coming forward. I dig it. I don't feel like the curtain's coming up yet, okay? I feel like, you know, you land the role, all right? You land the role on the 13th, the seeds planted. Some of you, this is speaking of a creative project, right? Some of you may get discovered. A star is born, I just heard. Ooh, interesting. You know, creativity is a big part of this, you know, cycle. Do allow yourself to explore your creativity. You know, a lot can come through the pathway of creativity. Get creative. Write some songs. Put those old hurts, that grief, the old story, the soap opera, you know, express it creatively. Write it out. Sing about it. Paint it out, you know, play with it, play with the energy. Leo is about play, all right? So it's really about not forgetting this. And you're going to know what side you're on. Are you in a destructive cycle or are you in a creative cycle by how you notice your reflection looking back at you and the world around you? Are you seeing more darkness? Ted says yes. All right. Some of you need to let the light come on in the room, all right? Are you looking at the other and you're just picking apart all their faults or what they bug about you or what's wrong with them or what they did wrong? Or are you looking for the light? Maybe it is hard to find, but can you? Can you challenge yourself in that way? Can you look for the light? Understand that the more that you're able to see the light in others and you allow that focus to start to come forward more, you're going to have the light come forward more in you. And this light's the way forward, all right? Really beautiful energy. Okay, let's do a cut of the deck here. And this energy wants to play. It wants to roam. Like the channeling is coming in like this. I just sort of feel like a little bit like a kid in a candy store. You know, like, ooh, what about that? Oh, that. You know what I'm saying? So it's got a little bit of that kind of vibe. Leo is big energy. And we've already had a lot of big energy arrive on the scene. Aries North Node, Venus South Node, spotlights on with Leo, center stage, you know. Everything is in front of us right now. Everything is up in our face right now. Like there's no way of unseeing what is being seen at this time. And so it's about understanding your part in it, during the dark moon phase. And once you let that light really come in and you plant your seed on the 13th with that Kazemi, nurture it, grow it. Don't get caught up in looking back in the past. Don't get caught up looking at how fast somebody else is moving forward or the relationship somebody else has or what's happening for them or what their gifts are and how you can beat them out, edge them out. It's not about any of that, okay? It's about keeping focused in what you learned during this time of really coming into your Ace of Cups, all right? merging those energies, the alpha, the omega, within the DNA of your bloodline, and you. It all comes here. You are the Ace of Cups, right? Big musing energy. So what we got on the cut of the deck here, we have Page of Wands. Look at that. You do that. Bum, ba, da, da. You can take that first action. You can plant that seed with the Page of Wands, all right? This is speaking it into existence. It is so, you know, but first you have to have this opportunity. Look, don't be like the kid in the candy store. Isn't it funny that that came in? I feel like a kid in the candy store. It's like there's all these offers. Look at all these Ace of Cups being presented here. You know, it can be an illusion. I got this like kind of like I'm seeing one of those spirals, you know, like the hypnosis spirals that can put you in a trance. This is why you need to turn within, all right? Turn within. Really lean into what you're feeling. Get in touch with your intuition. Because we have a blue moon, right? That blue super moon. Once in a blue moon. There's a once in a blue moon opportunity and offer. But that blue moon on the 31st of August, it's in Pisces. And yeah, that big Jupiter energy is there, okay? That comes in on the 22nd. We're going to see what is that challenge. That's what will be highlighted for you. Whatever you're aiming for, whatever you're desiring, whatever vision of love is lighting up in you, whether it's a creative project or a certain type of love relationship or a healing process, coming into reunion with somebody, all right? There's a lot of different ways, and on many different levels, it can be playing out in your life. Maybe all levels, okay? But you're going to see what could be the spanner in the works. That's what's going to be illuminated on the 22nd for you with that Venus square Jupiter. You have a chance to really receive it with that blue moon. Once in a blue moon, this opportunity comes in, this door of opportunity. You'll get the key on that 22nd date with that Venus square Jupiter. And then you'll, you know, get your door presented to yourself with that super moon in Pisces. Once in a blue moon. Once in a blue moon, once in a lifetime opportunity. For some of you, you're getting discovered. I have to tell you, it's coming through. It's coming through very strongly. There seems to be like a lot of creative types in this collective that's drawn here. I mean, that makes sense to me because I do like to bring a lot of music and different elements into this channel. And it is one of my focuses here. And I do feel the way forward into the age of Aquarius is all about creativity, you know? And the more you can bring creativity forward, the more you're going to be in alignment with this energy. You'll flow so much more easily. You'll just be carried there, okay? So you're presenting this key, but you know, you need to really keep your focus on the internal. Don't lose that key, okay? Don't get distracted. Something really beautiful comes at that time, right? In the meantime, just let there be these variables, okay? Let there be these question marks. Get a little comfortable with Jaguar medicine. Jaguar medicine has been coming in. Jaguar medicine is about impeccable integrity. Jaguar medicine is also about moving out of fear into that energy of love, because Jaguar medicine is fearless when it comes to the unknown. Fearless. But when you think of that fearlessness, sort of merge that energy with the fearlessness really of the Fool. The fearlessness of the Fool. It can be folly. You can be played the fool if you lose the key, correct? Because then how are you going to open the door, right? So it's about not losing your head, right? Got Dog Star Sirius behind us, you know, nipping at our heels, reminding us, you know, remember your spiritual lessons. Remember what has been illuminated for you in that place of inner reflection. It's important. It's part of lighting your way forward. Don't lose your key. But there's something significant happening here. We're crossing a bridge. But you notice here, I want to make this very clear, because that key part is so important. And clearing out, you know, the old grief, the old story. It's so important. There's just one foot on this bridge. It's got like temperance vibes. You get it? It's sort of like spirits building this bridge for us to help us get over this water, to transform these situations, to transform the old story, let it be water under the bridge. But we're not fully on the bridge and crossing over yet. You got to step away from that, from the old reality. You got to step out of the old chapter and into the new chapter to make that commitment, which I feel like that's what that Kazemi is. That seed is actually stepping on the bridge. Now you're starting to make your way over that troubled water, okay? Woo! Oh my gosh, you didn't see it. It just turned it off. I didn't even realize it. Bottom of the deck, Justice. Big Libra energy, all right? Very potent. Very potent, okay? Ted shook his head, yes. Okay, let's get some angel cards. I want to give you all some keys. Give you all some keys for unlocking the door of opportunity that comes in. Look at this. I can't believe it. Bottom of the deck energy with that Libra that came in. We got the Ace of Swords. Umabel. Oh my goodness. Big key here. God above all names elevated. Affinity and friendship. Obtain the friendship of anyone. So see, it's really about transforming, coming into alignment, moving out of that sense of division and into that unity consciousness. Oh, and right behind that, 10 of Cups. All right, I love this. Oh, this is wild because remember we had the Page of Pentacles was in reverse, but this is now turned upright. This is what started out. What comes through this education that begins at this time will come to fruition, as the 10 of Cups, that fulfillment. Something really beautiful can grow here. I love this. This is such beautiful symbolism. All right, pretty wild. This energy, do you see? The energy is playful. Even the way the download is coming in, it's kind of like, it's just sort of like carefree. It's sort of like the pool, like, oh, we could go here, we could go there, right? So tap into this vibe a little bit, collective. Don't deny yourself the pleasure of this cycle, the pleasures of this cycle. Let yourself have some enjoyment. Move your body in fun ways. Let yourself have some dessert, you know? Don't deny yourself the pleasures of life. Get outside, enjoy the warmth of the sun on your skin. Breathe the fresh air, take some breaks, you know, give yourself an opportunity to enjoy the season we're in and all that's coming to be. The more you align with that sort of vibe, the more that you'll see the beauty growing in your life, right? Yeah, but first you have to close the old cycle here, right? Breaking the circle. Lifts opposing barriers and brings victory. Brings that 6 of Wands, right? So you got to close the old cycle first. It's time to cut away through, you know, release the circle. Look at that. Ace of Wands, bottom of the deck energy. And then you'll have that fire you need. You'll be owning your fire and taking action, which is really cool because next week is our final lesson in the Own Your Fire course. And it's all about that. In fact, it's titled Action. All right. So curtain comes up. All right. Very, very powerful energy. This says fertility and multiplicity, protects against despair and helps one be patient. All right. The divine timing piece, we already had that come in. So I'm going to call in the whole collective to get these keys here. Calling in the collective. Angels, please give us some keys. Spirit, please give us some keys to open the door of opportunity with this Venus retrograde in Leo energy, calling in Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. What are the keys we need to open up the door of opportunity, the door that leads us to the love that is meant for us, the love with another, the love of our lives, the love of our work, the love that connects us to spirit, the love within ourselves? What are the keys we need to open up this door of opportunity? 3 of Pentacles. You need to do the work. There's no way you can escape doing the work. That's an important piece of it. It says, God hearing lamentations, Yael, Mental force protects against sorrows and illness, okay? So this is about you staying focused on the work at hand, all right? Don't let yourself be distracted. The more that you can stay focused on your vision, you know, instead of focusing on what was. If you focus on what was, you're still in the place of the tower. You're still amidst the rubble. You haven't yet, you know, arrived into the construction phase where you're the architecture you know, designer of your new future. So this is about really paying attention to that. Again, it's that polarity, you know, where are you choosing to focus? Are you choosing on the loss, the darkness, the shadow, the heaviness of your past and what happened back there? Or are you focusing on the light, right? The star, the hope that comes on the other side of that. It's very, very significant right now. 7 of Cups. Okay, it's funny that it came in, and look, this particular angel is holding an hourglass. Again, the soap opera as the world turns. You know, this piece is front and center. Days of our lives. Like the sands of the hourglass, so are the days of our lives. I don't know why. I think there's going to be some soap opera action. I have to say, with that, it keeps coming in. So I think there's a little bit of some soap opera action playing out during this cycle. It could get a little dramatic. Just be prepared. Look to that time, you know, between the 9th and the 22nd for it to get a little dramatic, all right? But here's the key to moving through that time. And here's the thing about drama too, right? And it was 1-1-1-33 on the clock. Big building block here to open up the new cycle and come into alignment within yourself and with another, okay? You can kind of get beyond the soap opera and the drama if you continue to be like inwardly focused during those stuck points, all right? It says right here, contemplation makes the truth known. Contemplation makes the truth known. Okay? So be patient. I also feel like this key is coming through that's saying, be patient. What's not clear now will become clear. Something is coming in to illuminate things in divine timing, okay? And what is the truth for the collective? What are these keys? What are these keys? These keys to this discovery of truth for the collective, okay? This is in reverse. I see that. 8 of Swords in reverse. That you can set yourself free, that you're not trapped, that no one's holding you hostage. You get to move forward as soon as you're ready to. As soon as you're ready to move forward and you help yourself in this way, then you align with the energy of Mabahel, which is God, protector, and savior. Remember, you have to be able to receive. To receive, you have to let go, all right? To let go, you can't stay in this place where you're tight like the bud. You know, that's what I think of when I think of that 8 of Swords energy. You know, you got the binds around your hands, you got the blindfold over your eyes, but you're not trapped. You can easily take off the blindfold. You can easily see things as they are. Stop being in a state of illusion about it. Stop telling yourself fantasy stories. This is not a Disney fairy tale. This is real life fairy tale here. And in real life fairy tales, there's a moral to the story, right? There's challenges along the way. There's an antagonist to the protagonist, all right? And these themes are really unfolding and playing out. Okay? Don't lose your head, all right? Don't lose your head. Don't lose the wisdom that you learned. You know, don't get yourself clouded by fantasy. Only remembering, you know, the good times in a situation. Also remember, you know, remember what you learned. You learned some fierce lessons through those difficult challenges, right? It's time to not forget that. You can't forget that. It's so important. As soon as you release this, you let this go and you free yourself from the story of the past. Free yourself from the need to continually like put your focus, your energy there. It can be as simple as every time you catch yourself thinking back, that you've thought about this for a long time. To be in the 8 of Swords, you've been stuck there for too long, okay? You don't get into the Eight of Swords with something that's just like a fleeting thought. No, this has been ruminated on. You're still not at a solution point, but it's because you're still ruminating on it. It doesn't allow a new reality to come into the consciousness at all. It was 1:14:55 on the clock. 1, 5, 5, 5. You know, 1555. That's the time. You know, it's about bringing in that change that's needed. It's a lot. And the change is needed on every level. You know, 15,555. It makes me think of change is needed. Mind, body, spirit. That was that 3 of Pentacles energy that came in. That's the work, right? A change is needed in the way you look at things, in the stories you tell yourself, in what you talk about. What you talk about, what you write about, what you share with others repeatedly, what you look at, what you meditate on. That's creating your existence. 1:15:44. That's what you're creating. Okay, so if there's a need for clearing the mind, getting it out, that's why I think it would be so good just write out that soap opera, burn it, write out the old story, burn it, write out that contract that you're ready to dissolve and burn it. Okay, this coming through, use that fire, use that alchemy to burn it, release it, send up the smoke signals. Trust the guidance you need will come through. All right, through releasing it, it really allows that energy to come in. The masculine as provider. It says it right here. God, protector, savior. Okay. This brings truth and justice. Protection from the enemy. All right. Because once you come into that place of union and love within yourself, you realize there is no enemy. It's all about you. It's all about how you relate to things. It's all about what you embody. It's all about what you choose to see. It's all about how you move through the world, okay? Once you come to this realization, then, you know, spirit comes on through. Enemies who would steal one's fortune, okay? The enemy is the lie within, that we're stuck in the old story. Enemy is the stories we tell ourselves, the lies we tell ourselves that keep ourselves in a safe place. But there are no safe spaces in love, okay? All you can do is just step into love, become love, be love, and then you'll grow in love, and your future will grow in love, and that beauty will touch everything around you. All right, cut of the deck energy here. It's really beautiful. I love this energy that came in. And there's that Page of Cups upright. Unbelievable. We have the Page of Cups in reverse, and now it's upright. Do you see this? Page of Cups, God who rejoices, divine comfort, gives consolation and protection from one's enemies. All right, so really there is no enemy. We do not need to focus on the enemy. And this is a big key here and what needs to be turned around though. 4 of Cups in reverse. There's too much attachment to the disappointment. There's too much attachment to what didn't work out. Think of that traditional tarot card for the 4 of Cups when we're looking at the Rider-Waite deck, right? The man, he's sitting on the roots of the tree. He's sitting underneath a tree, okay? This tree, the 10 of Cups, all right? He's sitting there. Spirit wants to offer that Ace of Cups, holding it out as that, you know, Page of Cups energy upright. So beautiful. Look, here's Spirit like, here you go. I got it for you. I got your Page of Cups, okay? Here comes news of your new beginning. I'm offering it to you, all right? You have to take the cup, though. Can you take a cup if you're sitting underneath the tree like this, looking back at the 3 cups, looking back at the very thing you desire more than anything? You want healing. You want celebration, right? You want to be at that moment where you can be like, cheers, I made it. We made it. All right? We made it. That's a key, because it's not about I made it. No, we made it. We made it. All right? That's what's really important here. That's a key. There's a need to release this disappointment, because until you stop focusing on this and looking back at this, because you want healing. You've prayed for healing. You've requested healing. You've been doing healing rituals. You've been doing healing work. You've been going to therapy. You've been working on all levels with all mediums for this healing because you want this healing. You want this point of celebration so much. It can't come in if you think it has to look a certain way. This is about divine timing and alignment. 1:20:02 on the clock. It's about what's aligning with you at this time, what's wanting to come in. And with all of those zeros, those are spiritual gifts, okay? This has the potential for healing capacity and protection from weapons and safety in traveling over that bridge to the new beginning, to your path of heart. But you could cut yourself with that sword of truth. If the truth you're invested in is your attachment to the story you've told yourself about who you are, who they are, what this life is, and what's your lot, and how it needs to look, okay? Release the disappointment, and in its place, you're going to find that what's on the other side of the door is exactly what you've been praying for.